Happy Monday, folks, and there is such a thing as a happy Monday if you don't mind doing what you do for a living. It ain't too hard. 12th day of May 2025. I'm Dan Kuntz, is down the road for another week of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Quite a bit of sunshine, 48 degrees. We're going to ride the weather roller coaster most of this week. Temperature is going to be a little bit below normal for the most part. Our normal high this time of the year is 71. Wasn't a bad weekend. It was 76 on Saturday, only 66 yesterday for Mother's Day. We actually had a little bit of rain, not enough to actually trigger a measurement at the rain gauge at Payne-Bohr Memorial Airport, but we had a trace of rain for the first time in over a month, and we could see some rain tonight as well. It's a very pleasant morning, but by late in the day, late in the afternoon, or actually early evening, say 5, 6, 7 o'clock, the clouds will start rolling in. The winds will be picking up. Could get some rain overnight tonight. All in all, it's kind of it's more of a late April weather pattern than the middle of May. Whatever it is, we're have it coming your way, as is the news. Lots of sports to get to, a lot of sports to get. Not a very good weekend for the Mariners. Ouch, offensive struggles. You remember those? Well, they're back. Blue Jays swept them. Highlights, if you will, of the Mariners and the Jays. And in the back half of the program, it's the two Caseys, our own Casey Safford and Casey Koski. Casey Koski is a local artist of some renown. I mean, if you get commissioned and get paid to create artwork, that makes you good. Casey has lived in the Wenatchee Valley for 20 years now, but she's a native of Michigan, and she has been contracted to do some more artwork back in her home state. It's a good story. We'll have that for you in the interview portion of the hour in the back half, and the usual shenanigans apply. Let's take our tour, shall we? It's 46 degrees with quite a bit of sunshine, just a few high clouds, and that's about it. The conditions, the hills are continuing to brown out. We did have a trace of rain over the weekend. It wasn't much, but I didn't even notice it until I went out to run some errands yesterday, and I could tell by looking at my car. It looked like we had a little bit of light rain. Today, again, temperature is going to be pretty much like we had yesterday. We'll see quite a bit of sunshine this week, but we can't rule out rain, and we can't rule out some wind at times. We're under the influence of a cold upper-level trough that rolled in yesterday, and it's going to remain hanging around for the next couple of days. Good morning to the Wenatchee Valley. Camera 2. Up to Lake Wenatchee we go. Lots of snow melt on Dirty Face over the last couple of weeks, as you can tell there. They looks like they have a few more clouds. There's still lots of snow to be melting, though. We're a long way away before the mountains that you see way off in the distance are bereft of snow at the summit. We're not there yet. Good morning to Lake Wenatchee, a beautiful place to visit any time of the year. Camera 3. I love having that just in our backyard. Speaking of our backyard, we're heading up north, 97A to Chelan from our McNeil Canyon camera. Lake Chelan continues to go up by about 1/3 of an inch a day. They take their time filling up the lake, about 1/3 of an inch a day. So they're a ways from getting there. It'll be certainly at dock level for a lot of folks by Memorial Day weekend, which of course is early this year. Memorial Day is about as early as it can come this year. It's just a couple Mondays away, as a matter of fact. That's okay. I could use a 3-day weekend. Good morning to Lake Chelan. Looks like they have some pretty clear skies up there. And camera 4. We are off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. I believe that is Stein Hill turned around and looking towards Dryden and Pachasson. It's a pretty good guess, but I'm thinking that's exactly what we're looking at. We showed you this camera on Friday. That's a nice view, and of course it's an exposed ridge. That's why it's moving around a little bit. But you can see the icicle, the enchantments, Mount Stewart, and on down the line. Good view there from our camera on top of Stein Hill, pointed the opposite of Kashmir. We turn that around, and you can see pretty much all of Kashmir from the summit of Stein Hill. One quick slide to show for you. Again, I think it's going to be a little cool and a little showery later on today. Most of this day we'll see quite a bit of sunshine, although the temperature is going to be below normal. Our normal high is 71. It'll be more like we had yesterday, 66. But the best chance of rain is actually tonight as another system rolls through, so it's going to be temperature-wise very similar. Next chance of some serious wind is going to be Tuesday night, and then starting Wednesday and really lasting through the rest of the week. Not bad at all, although temperatures will be slightly below normal, and we could still see the occasional rogue raindrop pop in to pay us a visit. From the National Weather Service, it looks something like this. Only 64 today after a high of 66 yesterday. Didn't see a lot of sun on Mother's Day. It was a nice morning, but it didn't take long for the clouds to roll in. And it's going to be a little breezy very late in the day. Tonight is when the real activity comes. We have about a 40% chance of showers tonight. It'll be in the wee small hours of the morning, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Lots of clouds, lots of wind, and an overnight low of 48, which is actually about normal for this time of the year. Partly sunny on Tuesday, a high of 71, and then the wind picks up again on Tuesday, a high of 68 on Tuesday, and then the wind picks up again on Tuesday night into Wednesday. Wednesday looks nice, slightly below normal for the temperature, but it is going to be rather breezy on Wednesday and Wednesday night. A brief ridge of high pressure is going to come pay us a visit Thursday and Friday. It's going to break down Friday night. We'll see slightly cooler temperatures, but not bad on Saturday and Sunday. So the best chance of rain overnight tonight into Tuesday, and a little bit of wind today, Tuesday night, and again Wednesday night. Outside of that, not a bad forecast, although as you see, all of those temperatures for the afternoon highs anyway are just a little bit below normal for this time of the year. All right, after a break, we will have the news on this Monday. You're watching a Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Central Washington Water is home to the Hot Spring Spa for over 45 years. Come see the Freshwater Smart IQ. It monitors your saltwater spa's pH balance, chlorine, and more. Or the cold plunge tub that will leave you feeling rejuvenated. Plug-and-play spas make hot tubbing easy. With great financing available, cold water, salt water, hot water, Central Washington Water has a spa for your budget and your lifestyle. Stop by today.
Tour Moses Lake just a gas tank away. With its abundance of outdoor activities, Moses Lake is a great place to visit. From fishing and boating to exploring the city's attractions, there is no shortage of things to do. Whether you're enjoying any one of the variety of restaurants with the family or an adventure-filled day with friends, Moses Lake has something for everyone. Tour moseslake.com and start your adventure today.
A lot of sunshine, 48 degrees, sunshine pretty much all day, a little cool. Later on this afternoon into tonight, the breeze will be picking up, the clouds will be rolling in. We're going to get a little bit of rain, slightly unsettled weather, lots of sunshine for the most part this week, but temperatures just a little below normal. It's just about 9 minutes after the hour. Our media partners at the Wenatchee World is reporting that Douglas County Prosecutor Gordon Edgar is going to be stepping away as the prosecutor effective June 30th. Edgar said the decision came after discussions with his wife, and they concluded that this is, quote, the right time to step away, end quote. He was first elected to the position in 2018 following the retirement of the former prosecutor, Steve Clem, and Edgar was reelected to a second term in 2022 without any opposition. His current term concludes on December 31st of next year. He is an independent, and that means Douglas County's all-Republican Board of Commissioners must appoint his successor. Edgar says he will speak to the commissioners in an executive session tomorrow, and he plans to submit an official resignation letter in early June. A Spokane man allegedly used phony police lights and a silver Crown Victoria to pull over another motorist Thursday on the Chumstick Highway. The Washington State Patrol says 62-year-old Ronald O. Cohen flashed a set of dash-mounted lights while traveling behind another vehicle outside of Leavenworth at about 6:40 on Thursday night and continued driving when the victim pulled over. He allegedly tried the same trick again on the same driver 10 miles later, this time on Highway 2 near Dryden. The victim driver took a photo of the passing car and then called police. Troopers said they were able to find and stop Cohen's car on White Trail Road just outside of Quincy. When they stopped him, they found gear in his car, including radios, firearms, and a heavy-duty flashlight. Cohen was cited on a charge of second-degree criminal impersonation. That is a gross misdemeanor. He was due to appear Friday in Chelan County District Court. The Wenatchee City Council on Thursday reversed a 2023 ordinance that required the mayor to confirm the termination of top city officials with the Wenatchee City Council. Danielle Marchant is the city's attorney, and she said that state law did not expressly give city councils the authorities to confirm termination, and as a result may not stand up to legal scrutiny. Marchant also noted that the ordinance may be infringing on the mayor's state-determined powers. Mayor Mike Poyer told our media partner, the Wenatchee World, that he has no desire to terminate any employees, but believed he should have that power. If needed, the city council members voted unanimously to approve the reversal. Winton Compost Works, a composting plant near Lake Wenatchee, has organized some upcoming compost giveaway events in celebration of International Compost Awareness Week. The company is giving away free compost. That's a good price. May 17th at the Grace Lutheran Church in Wenatchee. That's this Saturday. And then again the following Saturday, May 24th, at the Celebration Lutheran Church in East Wenatchee. Those events are from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Compost is a nutrient-dense mixture created by the natural recycling process of various organic materials. It's often used as fertilizer for soil since its high nutrient content enhances plant growth. Attendees, you got to bring your own bucket, your own bag or tote to have it filled with compost. They don't provide those, but it's free compost and it's good. U.S. Senator Patty Murray held a virtual press conference with wildfire officials from Washington and Oregon on Thursday to, quote, sound the alarm, end quote, on threats to wildfire preparedness and response. Murray spoke about how advanced preparation is important to fighting wildfires and said the Trump administration's cuts to the Forest Service affects that. Locally, 46 probationary workers at the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest were laid off back in February.
Here's the thing. Nearly every single Forest Service employee supports fire operations in some capacity. Trail maintenance crews ensure access to routes remain clear for firefighting personnel and equipment. Biologists conduct essential environmental assessments that inform prescribed burns and fuel reduction strategies. And other support staff like camp managers and administrative personnel receive firefighting training and are mobilized during peak fire season to bolster our frontline crews. In fact, around 3/4 of Forest Service workers are trained in wildland firefighting. They provide crucial surge capacity when a crisis strikes.
Washington State Forester George Giesler joined Murray on the call and spoke about how collaboration is crucial to wildfire response.
Many don't even understand how interconnected wildland fire response is in our nation. Across our state and across all states, the folks on the ground are actually from Forest Service, DOI, state forestry agencies, and local fire service on the majority of fires that we see on the landscape. In fact, state and local fire service together account for almost 80% of the wildland fire response in this country. But with a lot of change occurring, the biggest issue that we're currently facing is not always the funding, but it's the lack of communication. What we are having to do right now as we enter our summer fire season is prepare. Much like the senator said, this is the time when we are making certain that we have the aviation we need, when we have the personnel we need, and that all of our systems check out and are ready to go when the alarm bell rings. Without knowing what our partners are doing or not having a clear understanding of what actions are being taken, we struggle with missing the third leg of the stool that we have. And so that, more than anything at the state level, has truly made it a challenge as we go into what looks to be a pretty significant wildland fire season.
And the Cascade School District's environmental programs have earned the district a special statewide recognition. On Tuesday, the State Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction recognized Cascade as the only Washington Green Ribbon School District for 2025. The program honors schools and districts for demonstrating progress in reduced environmental impact and cost, improved health and wellness for both students and staff, and for integrated environmental education. The award ceremony included community partners and elected officials who joined students for a hike up Rattlesnake Hill. They visited outdoor classrooms and other activities. Cascade is the third district in Eastern Washington to be selected for the Green Ribbon Schools program since it began in 2012. And that's the news at 16 minutes after the hour, and we will have another newscast to get your week going at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock on TV. 5, 6, and 10 on TV. We know that doesn't necessarily work into your schedule, so we have it up and running on the World Wide Web right around 5 o'clock. You can just click on our homepage, NCWLIFE.com. Our news will be right there. Same deal with our YouTube page. It's right there. Our Facebook page. We try to make our newscasts as accessible as possible to everybody. So long as you got the internet, you're in. And as long as you have the internet, you probably have an email address. If you think something out there is newsworthy, send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. Not surprisingly, it was a pretty busy weekend in sports, and I'll prove it to you in 2 minutes. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
The Surf and Slide Water Park is open from Memorial Day through Labor Day. Surf and Slide is located in the heart of Central Washington in Moses Lake with activities for all ages and abilities. Check out Surf and Slide's Flow Rider Surfing Simulator, Lazy River, 2 200-foot water slides, tube slides, and diving boards. Our children's area includes a Treasure Island water structure, splash pad, and baby octopus slide. For season passes, visit us online or find Surf and Slide on Facebook.
Craving fresh Asian comfort food? Steam Panda is Wenatchee's popular family-friendly Asian restaurant. They focus on providing guests with delicious, healthy, fresh, and natural dishes for an affordable price. It's time to enjoy one of their many popular house-made soup dumplings, ramen noodles, or pho dishes. And make sure to ask about their lunch and chef specials on sushi rolls. Steam Panda's Hawaiian poke bowl and salads are excellent with your favorite boba tea. Stop by or order online at Steam Panda today.
Caught in a conflict? Family, workplace, neighbor, business, housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
Global Car Care has the best customer service in the Valley. From the moment you walk in the door, their goal is to help you stay on the road, so you can keep doing what's important to you. Global Car Care certified ASE mechanics stand behind your automotive repairs.
Sports at 19 minutes after the hour. Mariners, well, the Blue Jays beat them, as you probably know, 9-1 yesterday, so they complete the 3-game sweep. The Blue Jays outscoring the Mariners 21-7 over the weekend. Seattle losing 3 straight for just the second time this season.
And lined into center, a base hit. Another big hit for Miles Straw. This one drives in Nathan Lucas.
Calling for that pitch in these counts. High riser, left center field, running out of room, tie game. Dylan Moore, number 7. Making a fastball center cut, 95. As you start to see more and more of these at-bats. Urania, who second game with the Blue Jays, see him kind of fall into those patterns, but man, ball stung into that bullpen.
And Clement sends a fly ball to left field. It is fairly deep. The sun may be an issue. The catch made by Arozarena. And now Kirk tagged Johnson score, and Rosarena just kind of tossed it back towards the infield. Springer hits it high and deep to left field, and Rosarena just turns and watches it go. A long, long home run for George Springer. His 5th of the season, sailing into the seats up above the bullpens, and it is 5-1 Blue Jays. There it is, left center field. It is down, and it's going all the way to the wall. Lucas is in, Clement is in. It's a 2-run double for Jonathan Clase. And he hits this one to deep right field. It's gone. A line drive home run for Addison Barger. His first of the season. And he just keeps doing what he's been doing. He is hitting the ball as hard as anybody. And here comes the production.
Well, what a swing on a 3-1 pitch. He is really in a groove right now.
And they needed somebody to play third base, so that's Barger. Here's a shot up the middle into center. That's another hit for Nathan Lucas. Springer's going to come in to score at 20-20. A little dribbler. Fisher has it and makes the play.
Manager Dan Wilson admitted it was not the sort of weekend he was hoping for, although yesterday's loss wasn't necessarily the pitcher's fault.
Obviously a tough one today, and a tough series for us, but one of those series that kind of want to turn the page and move on. Tough one today. I thought Bryce was much more aggressive in the zone. I thought he attacked pretty well, and secondaries were much better in the zone as well. Just got touched up by Springer there, to kind of put him ahead a little bit, but he continued to I thought, throw the ball decent and was where he needed to be. And again, just, got touched up there by Springer, and from there we weren't able to get back offensively to get back, to the lead, or at least, make a push. Offensively, not much, we didn't get much going. We did hit a lot of balls hard this series, where they were able to make some nice plays, and defensively they handled things. But, again, one to move on from, and we start fresh tomorrow.
Mariners welcome the Yankees to town for 3-game series starting tonight. Emerson Hancock starts for Seattle. Clark Schmidt will get the ball for New York. First pitch is at 6:40. All right, to the American League West scoreboard from yesterday. As you can see, Seattle's lead, 2 full games over the Athletics, and Houston a 3-game lead over the Rangers and a 6-game lead over the slumping Angels. So the Mariners get swept for just the second time this year. The Rangers took 2 of 3 from the Tigers. The Astros won 2 of 3 from the Reds. The Yankees take 2 of 3 from the A's, and the Orioles won 2 of 3 from the Angels. So even though they got swept, they didn't actually lose a great deal of ground. All right, prep baseball. Here we go. It was a busy weekend on Friday. We'll start out with Central Washington B playoffs. Lake Roosevelt knocked off Davenport 2-1. Brewster followed that up with a 7-4 victory over Tenasket. And then Liberty Bell beat Okanagan for the district championship. All 4 of those teams still move on to districts. That was the Central Washington B in-house tournament. Eastmont and Moses Lake, they did battle, and Moses Lake, Eastmont won the first game. Moses Lake took the second game. West Valley swept Wenatchee in both of their games. West Valley wins the Big 9 outright. They will host Moses Lake for the district championship Friday at 5 o'clock. Moses Lake finishes as the number 2 seed. Wenatchee will be the number 3 seed. They'll host Sunnyside at Rec Park tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock. In a loser-out, winner moves on game. Same deal for Eastmont. They lock down the number 4 seed. They will host Eisenhower at Diamond White Field at 5 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon for a chance to advance. If you lose, you are done. Prep softball on Friday in the Big 9. Moses Lake and Eastmont split their doubleheader. West Valley took care of Wenatchee, no real problems at all. So Moses Lake won the Big 9 championship. Eastmont finishes as the number 2 seed. West Valley finishes the number 3 seed, and the Wenatchee Panthers finish the number 4 seed. But they still got work to do. Here is your schedule. For the scoreboard, first of all, in Central Washington 2B in the playoffs, Tonasket took care of Brewster in the semifinal. Lake Roosevelt crushed Okanagan in the other semifinal. In the 2A playoffs again on Saturday, in a loser-out game, Ephrata stayed alive by beating Prosser. Ellensburg's season came to an end. They got beat by Othello. In the semifinals, it was East Valley over Othello and Sela over Ephrata. The championship games aren't until the weekend. In the District 5 1A playoffs down in Yakima, Chelan snuck by Kashmir. Royal then beat Chelan, but the Goats are still alive because it's a double elimination. Then Royal went off to beat Omak, and then Kashmir beat Omak. Omak's season is over. Kashmir and Chelan are still very much alive. All right. The prep soccer scoreboard on Friday. The Wenatchee Panthers soccer team already clinched the regular season title a week ago. Finished with a 10-2 league record. They beat Sunnyside 1-0 on Friday night on the road. Eastmont clinched a tie for second with a 4-1 win over Moses Lake at home. Angel Ortega recorded a hat trick on a game that we had right here on the NCWLIFE channel.
The Wildcats, the throw in by Cordero. Inside the box, the header over the head of Friday, the shot, right at the line, and it goes in. Bit of a tricky bounce that time, and Mr. Adame has himself a goal, and Wildcats have the lead, 1-0. The header, oh my goodness, stopped in the line. Who's gonna tap it in? There's a shot, goal, 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 goal. A good combination with Saldivar opening the game up. Right side, the touch, goal, 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 goal! Out of bounds belongs to the Mavericks. Arreola shaking one off. Arreola, the touch, the shot. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! That's exactly what you were talking about, Matt Wisen. Taking that extra touch, taking that extra breath, and it pays off for the Mavericks. There's the throw-in. Punching it away. Freitag the shot, and the upright says no! Twice! Oh my goodness! It'll be Mr. Sanchez, who already has a tally in his favor, taking care of this penalty kick. 2 actors, 1 scene. And
you know, they can sub a player in for this injured player right now, but
Sanchez, right-footed touch, Sanchez! Jimenez coming up huge! Feeling much better, looks like, hopefully. That was the player that was injured. A quick run, Valencia, left-footed touch, Valencia, no doubter! Arreola, because it's, and there's the whistle that tells us that this game goes into the books, with Eastmont having defeated Moses Lake by a score of 4-1.
Coach, you are becoming the team nobody wants to face in the playoffs. You are peaking at just the right time.
Yeah, absolutely, and the credit to the boys. You know, we did start with a really heavy schedule, and we were fighting in all of them, but we weren't getting results. And so sometimes our record maybe was indicating that we weren't competing, but we've been in every game, and right now we are competing and we're getting results. We're scoring multiple goals, so we are becoming a little bit dangerous.
So there's the rest of your scoreboard in the District 5 1A 2B playoffs. They combine those. Highland eliminated Kashmir 2-0. Cascade took care of Connell 1-0. Quincy's season came to an end 2-0 to Grandview. So what does it all mean? Well, here's your schedule in the district, in the Big 9 District 5 play-in games tomorrow. Eisenhower will take on Eastmont at Eastmont at 6 o'clock in a loser-out game. Sunnyside will host Moses Lake same time for a loser-out game. Of course, the Panthers, who won the Big 9 title, will take on the team that finished second, the Davis Pirates, at Leibofte Field at the Apple Bowl, 6 o'clock on Thursday night for the championship. The winner of the Eisenhower-Eastmont game will take on the winner of the Moses Lake Sunnyside game at a higher seed also on Thursday, and then one last chance to make state on Saturday. A lot of soccer going on. All right, up to the next on our schedule, as we roll through our slides today. The District 5 two-way tournament tomorrow in a loser-out game. Quincy will take on Ellensburg. They're the last local team in the two-way to stay alive. Othello will take on Grandview for the championship at 6:30. Also on Tuesday, Cashmere at Connell, 6 o'clock. Both teams will go to the crossover next weekend. And then Royal will take on Brewster at 6 o'clock in the District 5 1A 2B semifinal. Brewster is the #1 seed. Next up, the WNBA. Haley Van Lith and the Chicago Sky dropped a 92-87 game Saturday night in the Twin Cities. Haley Van Lith scored 8 points, dished out 3 assists in 15 minutes of action.
Chicago, Van Lith. The kick out, Onyenwere, top of the key, 3-ball falls, and Chicago has made 6, making her first basket of the game. And now Van Lith coming the other way. Haley Van Lith will pull it up, off glass, gets 2. Bannon, double team on the baseline. Van Lith open for 3, and Haley Van Lith drops that one in.
It's amazing how she is locked into so many parts of her game.
Van Lith will try to answer, and she does. Haley Van Lith with a great touch beyond next week, a week from today, at Indiana. I mean, the WNBA schedule makers love that. It's Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark featured in their opening game of the regular season. This is the final game of the preseason, and the Lynx will close it out with a win.
So there you go. Those are games that don't count. Chicago opens their regular season Saturday against Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. That'll be at noon on ABC. The Bighorns had a weekend kind of like the Mariners did. They lost both over the weekend, a 1-point heartbreaker to the Vancouver Volcanoes on Friday night. Then not such a close game. The Seattle Superhawks took care of business against the Wenatchee Bighorns on Saturday night, 137-119. Our last Bighorn broadcast, by the way, of the year is this Thursday. Pre-game at 6:45 with Grand Olsen. Tip-off at 7 o'clock. They'll take on the Salem Capitals at the W.B. Smith Gymnasium. If you can't make it there, we always encourage you to go. You can watch it right here on what we like to call television. And those are just some of the games that people are playing at 32 minutes after the hour. It's International Nurses Day. We'll get to that in just a little bit. It's a National Limerick Day. I got a doozy, but I also have a job I need to keep. It's National Nutty Fudge Day. But no, today we celebrate that little piece of equipment in your automobile that tells you exactly how far you've gone in that car. It's National Odometer Day today. The first odometers were measured by people who were specifically trained to measure the distances by counting steps. Then they transitioned that to horses, and they transitioned that to covered wagons. In 1847, Bill Clayton, a Mormon pioneer, invented a road-mometer, which is what he called it. He attached it to his wagon wheel while headed to Utah so they could keep a general idea of how much they traveled each day. The idea to put an odometer in an automobile goes to Chuck Warner. Actually, the Warner brothers, Arthur and Chuck Warner of Wisconsin. It was patented as the autometer. If you think about it, if you want to use a euphemism, an idiom, a metaphor, you know, life itself is kind of an odometer. As you go through life, you rack up the miles. I've probably owned 20 cars in my lifetime, maybe more than that in the last 40-odd years. And every one of them, I'm sure at one point or another, had a significant milestone on the odometer, and I never bothered to take a picture. My worst one is I was driving my dad's Cadillac, which was in my Cadillac, when it went over 100,000 miles on the odometer, and I didn't take a picture. That's just the way it was, and I've never actually done that. I got to remember that. And you always got a camera with you. If you got your phone in your car, you got one. Anyway, take a drive in your car and see where you end up, or how far you've gone. It is National Odometer Day today. National holiday. 34 minutes after the hour. Yeah, the Donner Party. May 12th, 1846, the Donner Party departs Independence, Missouri, on their way to California. They made a couple of big mistakes. Number one, they left late. Back in those days, as 1846, it would take between 4 and 6 months to get to the coast of California. Most of the pioneer families back in those days would leave in mid-April. They didn't wait until mid-May, and so their window of 4 to 6 months was narrowed. And then they made a big mistake. They decided to follow a brand new route called the Hastings Cutoff, which was a big mistake. The established route was the California Trail in green, but no, we're going to take the Hastings cutoff. It'll save us some time. It didn't save them some time. In fact, of course, it didn't go very well at all. They started losing cattle, and they started losing wagons, and then they started fight and fuss amongst themselves, and then the snows came, and they got hungry, and, well, you know what happened. Good luck, Donner Party. You're off. 87 members of the party, by the way, were involved. They didn't all make it, as you probably know. 160 years ago today, more than a month after the surrender of Confederate forces at the Appomattox Courthouse, the last battle of the Civil War took place. It was the Battle of Palmito Ranch, just outside of Brownsville, Texas, so it was barely even in the country. Both commanders knew the war was over. They, you know, news may be slow, but they all knew that the war was over. But for reasons unknown, Colonel Theodore Barrett of the Union Army ordered the attack. Nobody knows why. That is the headstone of John Williams, Private, 34th Indiana Infantry Regiment, believed to have been the last man killed of the Civil War. And by the way, the last battle of the Civil War, a Confederate victory. Happened on this date 160 years ago today, and 93 years ago today, 10 weeks after he was abducted. Charles Jr., the infant son of Charles Lindbergh, and his wife Ann, is found dead near Hopewell, New Jersey, just a few miles from the Lindbergh's home. Turns out he had died soon after the kidnapping. They found his body on this date in 1932. Birthdays. Heavenly birthdays, a lot of them. I mentioned it's International Nursing Day today. Florence Nightingale, born in the state in 1920. When you become a nurse, a certified nurse, you take the Nightingale Pledge for all new nurses, and the Florence Nightingale Medal is the highest distinction any nurse can achieve. The woman who invented modern nursing, Florence Nightingale, born in the state in 1820. Katharine Hepburn, the only actor to receive 4 Academy Awards for Best Actress. That has been surpassed by nobody. And her 12 Oscar nominations for Best Actress has been surpassed only by Meryl Streep. 4 Best Actress Oscars. Katharine Hepburn, born in the state in 1907. Born 100 years ago today in St. Louis, Lawrence Peter Yogi Berra would have been 100 years old today. 10 times a world champion as a player. That's the most all-time of any sport. 18 times an All-Star, 3 times the American League MVP, 22 appearances in the World Series as either a player, a coach, or a manager. Baseball Hall of Fame. 90% of baseball is mental. The other half is physical. Nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded. It ain't over till it's over. It's deja vu all over again. You could observe a lot by watching. Yogi Berra, born 100 years ago today, and the legendary Steve Winwood. Spencer Davis Group, Traffic, Blind Faith, and his solo work. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with his work with Traffic. Steve Winwood is 77 years old today. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsors. Not too late to get your HVAC system tuned up for the heat that's coming. Mike McNally's got an opinion coming out. He's going to try to win friends and influence people, or win people and influence friends, I'm not sure. And then our very own Casey Safford sat down with Casey Koski, local artist done good. Don't believe me? You'll find out when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
Right now at Les Schwab Tires, it's the Best for Less sales event. Save up to $120 instantly on a set of 4 tires. Choose from a wide selection of our longest-lasting, best-performing tires, and every tire is covered by America's best tire warranty. With a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no-hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. It's our best deal on our best tires with the best service in the business. Get more from less.
Central Washington Water is home to the Hot Spring Spa for over 45 years. Come see the Freshwater Smart IQ. It monitors your saltwater spa's pH balance, chlorine, and more. Or the cold plunge tub that will leave you feeling rejuvenated. Plug-and-play spas make hot tubbing easy. With great financing available, cold water, salt water, hot water, Central Washington Water has a spa for your budget and your lifestyle. Stop by today.
It's the NCWLIFE Community Calendar, brought to you by the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center. Opening day for the Wenatchee Valley Farmers Market is Saturday, May 10th. Pick up your fresh, locally grown produce at the Wenatchee Valley Farmers Market every Saturday from 8 to 1. Early season favorites like asparagus, peas, radishes, potatoes, rhubarb, green beans, kale, plus starter plants, original arts and crafts, soaps, candles, plants, and lots of goodies to snack on. Celebrate this great country during Rockfest in Rock Island the last Saturday in June. Great music, great bands, great fun. It all happens at the Rock Island Golf Course. Mark your calendars and be prepared for family fun entertainment and live music until the fireworks start crackling. Contact info@rlstalent.com if you would like to help sponsor this event or bring your awesome food truck. Space is limited. Rockfest at the Rock Island Golf Course, June 28th.
This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie says we should be willing to admit when we're wrong. There's no shame in being wrong. And sometimes, Carnegie says, if we could only guarantee that we will be right only 51% of the time, we can go to Wall Street and get rich. Now, I try to remember that, and I try to be willing to admit when I've been wrong about something. Now, for example, I thought I had made a mistake yesterday, but I later realized that I hadn't. Okay? This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
Welcome to Boswell's, where you'll find quality furnishings for every room in your home. Customers ask, do you have solid wood options? Yes, they do. Bamboo, maple, acacia, cherry, mahogany. With 2 floors of quality furniture and complimentary design services, Boswell's design team can create a home that's uniquely yours. For almost a century, people have chosen Boswell's for their quality and customer service. Boswell's Furniture, it's closer than you think.
Hey there folks, Blueberry Carrie here to invite you on out to Blueberry Hills to experience some real treats. Take a look at our homemade cream pies, our amazing cheesecakes, and don't forget our famous banana pudding. Remember, we're more than just great treats. People come from all over the world to experience what has been called one of the best destination restaurants in the Pacific Northwest. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
Get a great deal on making the most of every property. The Kubota commercial landscape lineup is built to do more. From the RTVX utility vehicle to the Z700 mower to the SVL track loader. When your reputation is on the line, you need equipment that doesn't let you down. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for 48 months, or save up to $4,000.
When you've been in business for 40 years, it's because you understand change and you put members first, always. Now Works is announcing a change in their membership model. Up to 6 people on one membership that you can mix and match. The more people, the bigger the discounts. Introducing the Works shared membership model. One membership, friends and family and flexibility. Works, the cleanest, friendliest, most helpful gyms you and your friends will ever join.
So I've lived in the area for a little over 20 years now, and I've been fortunate enough to participate in some art projects with the City of Wenatchee. I think my first ones were creating murals in the small public wading pools, and it was inspired by living across the street from one of them. Then I went on to work on some of the South Wenatchee improvement projects. I created the banners that are on our light poles that stretch on South Chelan Avenue. And I think my biggest one to date was a collaborative project with my husband and a friend, and we created the giant Yeti that's on top of Mission Ridge. So that's definitely the one that most people are familiar with in the Valley.
So even though you've been here for 20 plus years, I understand you are a Michigan native.
I was born and raised there and also went to art school there. And I still have family in the area, so it's always got a place in my heart.
All right, so tell us about the experience you had last year of being contracted to go to the Keweenaw National Historical Park in Michigan and do some art sculptures there, and tell us about what that experience was like.
I found the call for art only a few days before the deadline, and I really didn't think something like that was going to be possible for me. I didn't have anything in my resume that was quite I guess that would warrant me taking top notes for such a project, but I couldn't stop thinking about it, and so after a couple days of procrastination, the day before the deadline, I decided to write down everything that had been, going through my mind that entire weekend, and I kind of filtered and reorganized everything and hit the send button just with my fingers crossed on a whim. I had a phone call or an email for an interview about a month later, and we scheduled one over Zoom, and it went really well. Some of my interviewees even knew my family and some of my background. It's a pretty small, tight-knit community back there, so I wasn't entirely surprised. But the interview went well, and of course then there's another waiting period while they carry on interviews with all of the other applicants. And when I received the email notification asking if I would be interested in working for them, I was just ecstatic. I was so excited, and it just, like I said, it all didn't feel like it was even possible. So last summer, I worked with them and visited the area twice, one week in early July to kind of refresh my memory of some of the sites that I'd be working on and some of the mining history of the area. And then I came back to Washington, and from here developed the designs for the sculptures and coordinated some of the other production details. And then I returned for about 3 weeks in September to have the metal sculptures cut and then to install them on site. And things went so wonderfully well, so smoothly, and there was just a really great reception from the local community, partially because of my roots there and the fact that I already had some community sort of built around me in my family and my friends from college and some of my professors, and so it was really nice to go back there and have that kind of wonderful reception from even friends that I hadn't seen in 20 years. So it was really a magical experience because things went so perfectly well. After it was all done and I came back here, it was, there's a little bit of deflation after so much excitement. And so I wasn't really sure what would be coming next as far as art jobs and things in the community, how I would continue my work. And so there was some really good support from the park and their park superintendents within the region. Everyone really liked it, and I had no idea when I was there working last summer that they had a much longer vision.
Yeah, so tell us about how long it was from when you finished these art pieces last summer before you were contacted again saying, hey, we'd like more.
Well, there was kind of an inkling as I was leaving that maybe this could happen, but of course the national parks are up against quite a bit in our current political climate, and so there was always a little bit of doubt as to whether or not we'd be able to pull off more, and if we would be able to do so right away. I didn't know if it would be immediately this year or if it would be some years down the road before they'd be ready to do some additional additions to that, or to that project.
So tell us how the pieces you did before last summer are going to differ from these new additional art pieces you've been contracted for.
The park had a vision for a continuing theme in each of their sites. So the work that I'll be doing this summer is very much like the work that I did for them last summer. So the idea was to have kind of a similar motif at all of their sites. And this park is one of the newer historic parks, and they operate with a partnership in 22 different locations. So there is potential for doing at least 22, but possibly more, because some of their sites are quite extensive, and the people that I created in the sculptures last year can be, the same style can be used in all of those sites. So there'll be people doing different activities based on the history of the site itself.
Yes, so I understand that the art you did before was I believe was, I don't remember what kind of metal you said you used, but it was kind of creating the people that may have lived on the property and what they might have been doing during the time that they were there.
Yeah, so because of the historic nature of the park and the fact that many of their sites are currently kind of in ruins, there's a lot of rusted metal on, like, throughout those environments. And so we used a specific type of steel called Core 10, which is made to naturally rust to a shell that eventually protects the core of the steel. So it doesn't rust all the way through, but it creates a rusted look on the exterior. And so because of the rusted equipment, we chose this specifically to go kind of within that environment so that it would create a patina that looked historic.
Great. All right, so tell us a bit about how long you see the process taking for these new pieces. I know you said you will be going back this summer. How much of that is planning that you do before you go versus when you're actually there on site?
So the vast majority of the project happens here from my small workspace at home. We're actually going to do a FaceTime or a Zoom walkthrough of one of the sites on Friday of this week to give me a little bit of a better kind of perspective of the site I'll be working on. If I had all the time in the world and all the vacation time to go and just visit these places, in person would probably be best. But of course I have maps of these sites, and with Google Earth and all that technology, like, I can really kind of zoom in and see the lay of the buildings and what their route or path would be for a guided tour. And so making my best judgment on the location to place the sculpture is pretty easy to do from a distance. When I go back, I'll have files ready. The process that's used to cut them is with a laser, computer-controlled laser cutting of the steel. And so I'll do the designs from here, but when I go there, I'll be kind of observing the cutting of the steel, readying the concrete pads to attach them to, and then we actually stand them up in place. And so I anticipate needing to go back for about 2 weeks later this summer to oversee the steel cutting, transport the sculptures to the site, oversee the concrete pouring, hopefully a little before, and then we'll just stand them in place, and it'll be it was a pretty quick process last year. We stood up all 4 of the sculptures I made for the site in one day in a little bit more than an hour. So everything went according to plan. I had made a plan for those concrete pads that they're attached to, and we were able to move them into their positions with just manpower. And so we rolled them along the ground and then only had to lift for a brief period of time to get them positioned just right. We bolted them down and they were standing and ready to go.
Great. So you said it was 4 pieces you did previously, and how many exactly are you going to be doing now?
This year we're going to be doing 6. What we've decided to do is repurpose one of the sculptures or one of the designs I created last year. He was just a waving miner, and so he's just a very friendly face and can really work in almost any of their sites because all of those historical sites are related to mining. So we spent some time going back and forth to capture some of the details of the specific era and the technology that they were using, like the specific headlamp, and they carried a certain type of lynch pail when they went underground. And so he's already got details that really can apply to him almost anywhere. So we're going to be replicating that one from last year and essentially using him as our welcome piece in the other sites that we're working on. So this year we'll be cutting 6, but I'm only designing 4 new ones.
Great. All right, and then tell us, what kind of budget were you allocated last summer in comparison to this year, since there is additional pieces?
So last summer I had about $17,000 to create the 4 pieces. And of course that has to include my travel and accommodations while I'm there, the time that I spend designing from here, and the production of the steel. So this year we've been allocated just slightly more, and so that'll produce the 2 more pieces because I don't need to spend any fresh design time on them. And so this year my budget is about 20. I will say that the reason that this could continue this year with our political climate is that most of this is being supported by the association, most national parks have an association that are kind of their local supporters and, you know, people that might want to see projects outside of the park's general purview happening, like this art project. So money was coming through the Isle Royale and Keweenaw National Park Association, not directly through federal funds. So that's allowed us to continue.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, located in East Wenatchee, offers terrific views and challenging play for golfers at every skill level. From the golf course to the grill, you don't need to be a member to dine in style and play golf too. Highlander's well-groomed fairways and greens keep it difficult, yet friendly for your regular rounds of golf or a new destination for you and your out-of-town friends. Contact the Highlander Pro Shop today to schedule your tee time, outing, or tournament. Open 7 days a week, where everyone is welcome to play and eat.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether, we provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
Time to update the bathroom or kitchen? KL Laminates could do it right. Avoid the franchise fees and subcontractors and work directly with local craftsmen. Tub to shower conversions? You bet. Using their durable laminates, available in hundreds of colors and stone-like patterns, will save you thousands. Get quality, timely work with top-flight materials from local craftsmen at a price you can afford. Call or go to krauselaminates.com for more information.
What's your awesome? Whatever it is, Washington Trust Bank can help you get there. Learn more at watrust.com/awesome.
The gradual warm-up continues. It was 47 when this show began an hour ago at 7 a.m. It's now 50. We're going to be mid-60s anyway. Our normal high this time of the year is 71. Yesterday for Mother's Day, we only got to 66. Saturday was a very pleasant day. It was a good day to open up the windows and air out the house. We got to 76 on Saturday, but you probably noticed we didn't see a lot of sunshine over the weekend. What we did see, believe it or not, was a trace of light rain. Not enough to register anything on the rain gauge up at Payne-Bourne Memorial Airport. That's where all this stuff is located, but it was still nice. I guess what we really need is a nice little consistent day of nothing but a nice steady light rain to get us on the right side of this drought. None of that is in the forecast with the exception of tonight. We do have a decent chance of some rain tonight. The big story really is things are going to be fairly unsettled most of this week. We remain under a cold upper level trough that came in basically Saturday night into Sunday. That's why we cooled down so much. Temperatures are going to be the same for the next few days as it was on Sunday. But for the most part, once we get to basically Thursday with the influence of high pressure, we're looking pretty good. Now for the next couple of days, especially tonight, we're looking at maybe some rain. So in detail from the National Weather Service, sunshine pretty much all day until we get very late in the day, and then the clouds will begin to roll in and the chance of rain will increase. But for the vast majority of this Monday, we're going to see sunshine with a high of only 64. Again, our normal high is 71. Chance of rain tonight at about 40% in the wee small hours of the morning. It's also going to be windy as the system rolls in, and we'll get down, as you can see, to 48 degrees. That's going to keep us below normal on Tuesday. Lots of sunshine mixed with clouds. We'll get up to 68 degrees. It's going to be a little breezy on Tuesday night and most of the day on Wednesday. And then things look pretty good. Thursday, 69. Friday, sunshine, lots of sunshine, high of about 70. Clouds and sun back and forth on Saturday and Sunday. with highs just about a little bit below normal. Again, our normal high is 71. By the end of this week, our normal high is 72. So our afternoon highs are going to be just a little bit below normal. Our overnight lows will be just about the normal mark. So it's going to be a little cooler than we would normally see for this time of the year. All right, that's it for us. Have a good and safe Monday. Make a point of starting your Tuesday with us right here live and local tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Until then, bye-bye.